How did we do it? This video shows solutions to the Your Turn problems dealing with pitch class numbers. The instructions tell you to circle the pitch class number for each note on the clock face and then write that number in the corresponding blank. Let's start with number 1. The note is A, and the first thing to remember about the clock face is that pitch class 0 is always C, and from there we can count up by half step going around the clock to C sharp or D flat, then to D, and so on. But for notes that are far above C, that can lead to errors. The more you have to count up, the more chance there is of accidentally leaving one out or misspelling. So instead, in this case, it might be easier to count backwards. So we're going to move from C down to B, then down to B flat or A sharp, and finally to A. We've reached our note. We now know that A is pitch class 9, so we circle that on the clock and then write 9 in the blank. Let's move on to number 2, the pitch E flat. Again, we'll start with C for pitch class 0, then go up a half step to C sharp or D flat, D, and then to our note E flat, which is pitch class 3. We can now circle 3 on the clock and write 3 in the blank. Number 3 is the pitch G sharp. Because it's closer to go down to G sharp, we can follow the same procedure as we did for number 1, counting down from C to B flat or A sharp, A, and then finally G sharp. G sharp is pitch class 8, which we circle on the clock and then write in the blank. You may have noticed there are a couple of shortcuts we could have used to find the pitch class number for G sharp. Back in number 1, we already found the pitch class number for A, which is only a half step above G sharp. Using that information, A is pitch class 9, and we can see G sharp is right next to it at pitch class 8. But let's say we hadn't just worked a problem on a pitch close to G sharp. There's still another shortcut, which was explained in earlier videos on pitch class. The halfway point for the octave starting on C, interval class 6, is the tritone, F sharp or G flat. If we memorize that pitch class 6 is F sharp, we can count up to G and G sharp quickly. Either of these shortcuts gives us the same answer as the old-fashioned way. Now let's look at the last problem, which is the note C flat. We know that C is 0, and C flat is just a half step below it, at pitch class 11. We can circle that on the clock and write it in the blank. You may be thinking, wait, I thought pitch class 11 was the note B. It was in the other problems we've worked. But don't forget that the spelling of a pitch isn't important when dealing with pitch class numbers. So C flat and B are the same on the clock face. And that's how we found the solutions to these 4 Your Turn problems on interval class.